think we're recording, so let's get started. In this video, I am going to show you how to declare variables and using variables. Now, this may or may not be in two parts, most likely one, but it sort of depends. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create a new project, and that project being a Windows Forms application. So let's call this working variables. And let's go ahead and create the project. I'm gonna go ahead, and if this doesn't load right now, I'm gonna pause it. Okay, so our project is loaded up now, and we're gonna go ahead and click on the form to open up the form properties over here. And let's go ahead and dive right in. So we're going to go into the code by either clicking on the form and pressing enter, or double clicking on the form. This will bring us to the form 1 load, which is the code that executes when the program starts, or in other words, this stuff happens when the program opens. So yes. Up here is called the public class. This is where we can public variables so that they can be used in any sub. Now, a sub is a block of code that handles a certain object. So this handles when the form loads. Now let's go ahead and start with a public variable. In order to public a variable, you're going to have to type public the variable name, and then the type by typing as, and then for example, let's use string. Now here, as I said, is the variable name, and here is the type. There are many different types. For example, as I said, string, Boolean, integer, double, and a lot more. Now let's go ahead and explain these. Now first we'll start with strings, since that's what we had. And a string is a line of text, basically. So if you put a space, an equal sign, and then a space, and then 2 quotation marks. This is only for string, by the way. 1 second. Sorry about that. But, for example, in the quotation marks, we can go ahead and type hello world. And this is the value of our string. This is the text that the string holds. But see, if we change it to a double, it still works, but a double is a decimal. So if we do that, then that's the value of the double. Same with integer, but integer is a whole number. So this is helpful when using applications that use numbers, like a calculator. But right now we're going to be making, oh wait, one more. Then there's Boolean. Boolean is a true or false value. So we can change it to true or false if we wanted. And so that's the basics of the 4 main types of variables. But for now, as I said, we'll keep it as string. And then we're going to set the value, as I had earlier, to hello world. My goodness. Okay. There we go. And then, so now we can use this variable. So if we go back to our designer, go into the toolbox, and let's say add a label. We can change the text in the code by using the variable if we wanted. So if let's see, go back to here. So we're going to make it so that when the form loads, the text of the label is going to change. So all we have to do is the name of the label, which in this case is label 1, dot text is equal to hello world. There we go. And now this changes the text of the label to the text inside the variable. And so we can also change this, as I said, to let's go with integer. And in here we can go hello world dot to string, because that's what labels use. They use strings. So we can set the value of this to 5 and debug the program. Now I'm hoping that this should have a label that says 5. Ta-da! There it is, right there. So we can also have something different for every type. So if we go ahead and public another variable, let's say YouTube as, and then we're going to do this one as a string. We can also change it differently to label 1.text equals YouTube. Now we don't have to change this to toString, obviously, because it already is. And I'm sorry for rushing a little bit. But now it should, and let's actually just delete this first line of code. Now it's going to work. Oh, duh. I'm stupid. Okay, so we have to give a value for the string, which is developer videos 1, 2, 3. And now it's gonna work, believe me. Okay, so now that we've got that bit sorted out and how to use variables, there's different places we can declare variables. Now we can, if we have a public, we can use that variable anywhere. But say we delete this, and let's do a public here. We're going to get an error because it's not in the correct place. But to change this, we can do it as a dim statement. So dim hello world as string, as string equal to hello world. Now, so now we can use this variable. So label 1.text equals hello world. And if we test it out, it should work exactly the same. And look at that, it does. Sweet. Now what happened? Let's go back in here. There we go. Okay. Now that we have our code back. Okay. But the only downside to having a public is that if we have another sub, hello world, and we're just going to leave the arguments empty. If we try to change the label 1's text to the hello world variable, we're going to get an error because the hello world was declared in this block, and we need it. In order to use it, we need to declare it again. Let's see. Okay, we need to declare it again in this block. My goodness. Okay, there we go. So, that's one thing that sort of stupid. Let's see, what happened? There we go. That's what I don't usually use dims unless it's specific to one block of code. So if you have any questions on variables, please leave a comment below, and I will try to get back to you. And I really appreciate all the support, so thank you all for that. And I will see you in the next video.